Welcome to the Wings tutorial. This video shows an example user interaction with the TellMe interface to create procedures and goes behind the scenes to explain what is going on. If you would like to get a general overview of the TellMe system and its user interface, please look up our previous video. In this session, the user is asked to create a procedure which tries to locate an oil spill from an aircraft, investigate it by descending, and record and send certain readings. The user starts by typing find oil spill, descend to a position of height 200. It is assumed that the user knows that the aircraft is meant to descend to a height of 200 after finding the spill. The system shows the user two alternative interpretations here. One where the descent happens from the position of oil spill, and another where the descent happens from a completely different position. Let us see what is happening behind the scene. First, as the user is typing in the TellMe web UI, the Suggestion API returns possible instructions with completed words based on a multi-layered prefix tree of the procedure modification paraphrases, along with the domain ontology text mappings. Then, when the user finishes the instruction and presses the Enter key, the Beamer API tries to generate procedure modification instructions. I shall explain how this happens in detail. The first kind of paraphrases that the system checks for are for the procedure ordering paraphrases, in case the instruction is a compound instruction like the one in this example. The paraphrase plus procedure 1, plus procedure 2 matches the instruction and results in phrases for plus procedure 1 and plus procedure 2, where procedure 1 is find oil spill and procedure 2 is descend to a position of height 200. Each phrase is then evaluated separately. Find oil spill ends up matching the simple paraphrase plus step verb for the task add node, given that we have a step verb mapping to the phrase that we are matching. In this case, the seek oil step has a step verb entry as find oil spill, and we get a match. The procedure modification task for this phrase thus becomes an add node operation with the step being seek oil spill. Descend to a position of height 200 is a bit more involved. It first matches the paraphrase plus step verb to plus output, where we have a step verb mapping of descend to will descend. This is an add node with output paraphrase and results in an add node with output procedure modification task with the step descend and an output as a phrase a position of height 200. As the output is still text, we will then try to match it further with any other paraphrases. We end up mapping it to the data property value paraphrase a plus data type of plus prop plus value, where a in curly braces indicates that it's optional. Here again, we need to have a mapping for the text, and the text position is mapped to the data type position, and the text height is mapped to the property has height. Finally, we get a procedure modification task, add node with output with a step of descend, and an output identified by the data type position with a property has height and a property value of 200. These two tasks are then performed by the Procedure Modification API. The Procedure Modification API adds the two nodes for the seek oil spill step and the descend step according to the procedure modification tasks. Importantly, it also applies heuristics to generate an extra procedure after merging of the output of the seek oil spill step with the input of the descend step, as they are compatible. This is known as procedure tightening. So the end result is the system shows the user two alternative interpretations, one where the descent happens from the position of the oil spill, and another where the descent happens from a completely different position. Now I shall perform the rest of the interaction without going behind the scene. The user then types, say, film the spill. Note that the system does not understand this and therefore marks it in red. Instead, we could type record videos and send them. Note that record videos produces a collection of videos, and the system is smart enough to add a procedure which assumes that the user is meant to iterate over each of the videos and send each in turn, since the send reading action is defined for sending one reading at a time. Also, the system shows the user that the result of sending the videos is a series of message receipts. Also note that tightening, as explained earlier, can provide alternative interpretations. The system here assumes the position to be after the descent. However, it also shows the alternative interpretations, where the system is another position altogether, or the position is the position before the descent. We will choose the first default option, as it seems like the most reasonable option. The user then types record GPS reading. Again, as previously, we have different interpretations of this depending on which position we want to record the GPS reading from. We will again choose the first interpretation. The user could even select a specific variable and ask for operations to be performed on it. For example, if I want to send the GPS reading, I could select the reading from the GPS and say, send this. The system shows a send reading, which essentially takes in the reading that we had selected earlier and adds a send reading component after it. Now the user types record image. TellMe shows three different interpretations, one for the action to record IR image, one for the action to record an ultraviolet image, another to record the SLR image. The rest of the alternatives are again to do with the tightening and the position. Let's choose the capturing of the ultraviolet image from the position after the descent. The user then types send thickness image. The system shows the user that it is not familiar with the term thickness image, but it assumes that it is a kind of reading or an image given the context in which the term is used. The user does not have to interrupt the instruction and define it right now. After creating this procedure, the user may save the procedure with a new name. In the future, when we open this procedure, it will not only open the procedure's description, but it will also open all the steps that we have taken to create this procedure. Thank you.